Today's video is all going to be about creating more speed, more power with the driver. And we're going to focus on the role of the hips and how we actually use the ground to generate some speed. So good golfers actually in the start of the downswing lower their pelvis, they're pushing down into the ground, but into and through impact their pelvis is rising, so they're getting a bigger change. And I want you to imagine when we talk about pelvis that you're focusing on either belly button or belt buckle, and use that as your reference point, your marker point. So at the start of the downswing, your pelvis is lowering as you're starting to push into the ground, but we definitely want this upward movement into impact. And that is a huge, huge power source. We're starting to use the ground. Imagine jumping. So we push down, we lower our pelvis to spring up, to raise our pelvis. And that creates some speed, some energy. And that's what I want you to focus on. So we're going to be keeping this relatively simple, but talking about the movement of the hips to generate some speed. And as a great visual, I would just grab an alignment stick and you're going to push it even through your belt loops of your trousers. And we're just going to use that as our reference point. So I want you to make some golf swings for me. And you'll notice here as I turn in my backswing, and I've recently just filmed a video more with the irons, but talking about the role of the hips, and I'll put a link in this video, so check that out. But the trail hip is moving up and behind me in the backswing. Now I want it to start to move down, and my hips are starting to move forwards as well. So although we're mainly focusing on the ground force pushing up, we actually will generate some speed as well with this lateral movement. So good golfers do get their hips going forwards. We're not going to worry about that as much in this video, but if I can actually lower and move forwards as I start the downswing, that's what I'm really looking for. So I'm lowering my pelvis and moving towards the target. Now, if I don't do anything, I feel like from here I'm going to end up hitting the ground. So I really want to jump effectively. I really want to raise my hips and my pelvis. Now again, if I can multitask, if I can not only rise, but rise and rotate, even better, even better. So we definitely want this movement through impact. And I'll just make some practice swings doing that. Lower and forwards, up and rotate. Lower and forwards, up and rotate. And I almost want you feeling like you're jumping. Most, not all, but most good golfers, when you see them at impact, their lead leg is pretty well straight. And that means that pressure is going back into the lead heel. What we see with so many amateur golfers is still a lot of flex in the knee, often the pressure out to the toe, sometimes the knees swaying towards the target. So we see this dip and this sway. Now that's also terrible for my back and my hips. So we are going to end up with some problems. So this actually movement here, allowing this leg to straighten, allowing this hip to rotate is what we're really looking for. Let's try one, getting that feel, getting that sensation. Now this is still relevant with irons. I'm focusing on the driver because we're talking about speed and power. Down and forwards, and then I'm going to hit a little trial one from here, up and open. So I wouldn't worry about the ball flight when you do that, but that's a great way to start on the driving range. Stop at the top, lower and forwards, up and rotate. Now actually that felt like a little half swing, a little chippy, like I hit it from halfway down. And you'll see I've stopped there as well, and I flew that 193 to finish 219. So there's a lot of speed, even from a very small move. So that's a great way of training this in. Now I do a lot more of that, but I'm going to go ahead and hit a full one. I'll show this in slow-mo as well. And I just try and focus on the red line here and see if I can get it lowering and then rising into impact. The lowering is the start of the downswing. And because I'm really focusing on this, I'm not too worried about the ball flight. You can see I've just lost a few shots a little bit right at the target. But I got the sensation there, I'm a little bit out of breath, that I was just pushing up. I really got the feeling I was sort of jumping into impact. And I've got to pretty good ball speed there of about 150. I'm going to see if I can generate a bit more speed with this one. If you are getting more vertical forces into impact, you are going to have to start to think a little bit about tee height. So on the range, just try out what is the right height of tee for you. We're always looking for a centered contact, but if we're going to be either way, a little bit above center is better than a little bit below center. So maybe just spray the face, put some tape on the face, look at strike location. If we're getting a little bit more vertical forces, we're potentially going to have to tee that ball up a little higher. Now I'm going to try and put some more speed into this, but again, just focusing on the movement of the hips. That really felt like it. I'm not sure it was a perfect strike, if I'm honest, but I really got the sensation. Wow. That's nearly 300 yards, 297. If you're not new to my channel, you know that's pretty long for me. I generally carry the ball about 260, but I create quite a low spin, so I can get it out there 285, 290. That carried 272. And I just really got the sensation of pushing down and then pushing up, really using the ground a little bit more. And I do love this as a visual aid, just using an alignment stick there through your belt loops. I know it can help you generate some speed, generate some power. Give it a go, of course, on a driving range practice area before taking it to a course. But if you're looking at ramping up your speed this off-season, this winter, it's a great exercise to help you generate some speed. If the video does help, smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe and drop a comment below. Cheers, guys.